Hey everybody, this is Mickey G. Well, it was a great NBA Finals this year, and even though everybody was pulling for the Knicks, my young Spurs are going to be around in the championship race for many years to come. And Rodney and I talk about that in this edition of Old Fools Talking Old School.
I don't know, man. I'm about sick of it. Even like my phone. Every time they have an update, man, I have to go in there and refine stuff, man.
Oh yeah, that's always the case when they do that, and I know their thought process is, well, this is some stuff that somebody out there that they surveyed or something said that they needed and used, but that wasn't me because I don't need it and I
Yeah,
don't use whatever the update is.
that's it.
I just like things to be the way I get used to it. 'Cause I'm a victim of habit anyway. When I get comfortable with doing things a certain way, I don't like things to change.
Yes,
I
sir.
like to keep up on things and stuff like that. I know things have to change, but still, when they go in and do that kind of stuff, or I look at my screen or something is different,
Yeah,
I'm like, okay, it's none updated or something because that ain't the way it usually looks.
yeah. That's me, man. Icons have changed, and then this thing, man. I don't know. Um, my stuff, it just changes too much for me, man. Oh, I went in and on my phone, I started getting notifications from Facebook. I ain't never had that. I saw my notifications when I signed in to Facebook.
Right.
And man, I was getting these pop-ups every time you turn around. Man, I went in and reset everything back the way it was, man. I was like, I, until I was just sitting up one night messing with it because I was gonna go in to the AT&T store. And then I said, no, I can do this shit. I went in there. I was looking for a factory reset. I didn't really
Right.
want to
Right.
go back that far, but I was willing to. So it finally worked out. But yeah, I had to, well, I'm sitting up here blaming everything on that. I caught myself sitting up here watching television, waiting till 9 o'clock, man. Hell, I dozed off. That's one of the things. Nigga just waking up. And then I heard it beep and you said, I'm getting on, brother. I was like, oh, I hadn't done nothing. So,
Yeah, that ain't a problem. I gave you some time. I said, and I thought the same thing. I said, Roddy done fell asleep. I said,
yeah.
I said, fell asleep. Let me give him some time.
Yeah, I fell asleep. You wake up in that stupor, like, okay, I can't even find my stuff. I had to sit back and think a little bit. So what's been going on with you, man?
Oh, not much, man. I'm just a little sad, a little depressed, man. My
Oh, what's up?
Spurs showed their youth, man,
Oh, yeah.
in that NBA Finals, man. I really thought they had a chance. I've been telling this partner of mine that's on our board. I said my only concern is their youth. Yeah, I said that's my biggest concern. And then
Yeah.
when they got past OKC, I'm like, well, they even the rookies ain't rookies no more. They got almost a whole year under their belt now.
Yeah.
I said they
Yeah.
might be okay, man. But when they lost that 29-point lead, I told Tamara the next morning, I said, well, they deserve to lose. Anybody lose a 29-point lead deserves to lose the whole damn thing, and they did. But I mean, I think I don't know. If they could get a big man that would at least either score or
Mm-hmm.
be a threat to score or be just a defensive, shutdown kind of guy, I think they would be okay. Because I mean, when Wemby goes out, it's almost like, oh, the basket is open, and old Cornette. I mean, matter of fact, his mom is the TV announcer here in Nashville. So
Oh,
he
really?
played at
Oh,
yeah, he played at Vanderbilt and stuff. So his mom is an announcer on Channel 4 here, but he just is not the kind of guy that's going to intimidate people, keep people out of pain, and he don't score.
mhm.
So I'm like, I think that's the
Wait a
one
minute now. Who
piece.
you said went to Vanderbilt there?
Uh, Luke Cornett,
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay.
yeah,
All right.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
But it just, like I say, he's not the kind of person that that is going to be intimidating, to anybody, and he
Right.
doesn't score, and that's the thing that I think that one piece that they need. I mean, even though Wembanyama's a young guy, I mean, you could tell he was about gone. He was about spent.
Yeah.
He was
Oh, yeah.
playing more and more minutes
Because they got
every
physical
game.
with him.
Yeah, yeah, and he's tall, but he's sort of frail looking, man.
Oh,
He
yeah.
like a gazelle. I'm afraid sometime he gonna, have to do the splits down there because I'm like, man, he ain't, and he ain't, you could tell he's not the strongest guy because my
Mhm.
boy OG, he's just sort of, just sort of muscled him out of the way a couple of times down there getting rebounds and things. So
Mhm.
uh, but I mean, I think he's the kind of guy. His body frame, he ain't gonna be no, big, bulking, intimidating guy down in the post anyway. Which he don't play down there a lot anyway. But
Right.
I just don't think he has the frame to put on a bunch of weight and all. But like I said, they gave it a run. Man. I mean, they got a good young team. If they can
Oh,
keep
yeah.
them together and keep that hunger in them, I think they'll be okay.
Oh, yeah, they're gonna be alright, man. As a matter of fact, they just going through the learning stages like every other good team that does that.
Yeah,
Everybody has to toe the line and see what it takes to get there. And Wemby, uh, I think he needs to chill out a little bit because he's making himself a marked man.
yeah, yeah.
But he needs to stay over here in America and get some of them beans and greens and you know, to hell with them snails and caviar. He needs to stay his ass over here and put on some muscle and some weight. But
Yeah, yeah,
I think just like every young superstar like him, he needs a Charles Oakley. He needs somebody that's going to protect him because
yeah, yeah.
I understand how frustrated he was getting because he's so long and lanky. And these people
Mhm.
are all up on it. If I was him, I would have turned around and knocked Carl Anthony Towns, just holding and pushing and ain't much women ain't got much to come back with
Yeah,
with them 2 ounces he wear. And but he needs somebody to get him off him. And
yeah.
everybody was making a big deal about when he pushed Brunson. Well, that's
Right.
just a
Yeah,
basketball player. Brunson was coming in at his waist. What is he gonna do? You
yeah,
know?
yeah,
And but that's all. I think what you're saying is true. They need a backup that can come in and at least hold a fort.
yeah, yeah,
And but they need an enforcer in there. See, them all young players that are really good. I think they're the future myself. I mean, I was pulling for them because I was so sick of this Oklahoma up here. They think like the Thunder is the only team in the. Hey, them young boys just beat y'all ass. That's what it is. And what I was saying is like pay their dues. See, they had to pay their dues at Oklahoma. They lost Oklahoma last year. Now they came back
mhm,
and whooped their ass. Now they can do that again. If they keep improving, because I like their whole team.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
uh, they're a young team, just like Oklahoma City is, but uh, those two gonna rule the West for a long time now. And but I like I was pulling for San Antonio. I was like, man, y'all come on now. And because I was like, I might have pissed off a couple people I know because I was just saying, oh, you all of a sudden New York fans. I mean, they act like New York. I mean, even like I was looking at a little parade, little other parade today, like New York, like it was just y'all ain't won in 53 years. What you acting like? You know, you got you got lucky and won one. I'm like, give me a break. And people that ain't never. I bet you. I told this one girl I know. She's the one I tell you all the time that introduced me and Rosin together way back in the day. She
right.
lived in New York for 2 years. She calling me, want to talk about the game. What you think about the game? I think I'm rooting for New York since I lived there for 2 years. I said, yeah, y'all got a lot of fair weather fans. They coming out of the woodwork. All these people that I know, they ain't never said nothing about no Knicks. Now everybody's a Knicks fan. I'm
Right, right.
like, give me a break. And so, but yeah, I mean, it was lighthearted, but I meant it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, you see that a lot of time when a team gets out there and it looks like they have a chance to do something. You see all these fans. That's what I used to say about here. I said,
Mhm.
there was a point to where all you heard about in Tennessee was UT. I mean, it was UT. There's
Yeah.
UT. Then I came back here and I'm looking at every other car plate, license plate, and I'm looking at all this Alabama stuff. I said, where'd this come from?
Right,
Y'all wait till they start winning. Now all of a sudden everybody's an Alabama fan.
right,
I
right.
said, yeah. So yeah, you see that kind of stuff, but yeah, I think they've got a good team. There was you was talking about Wimby and stuff like that too. I think there was sometimes that Castle just needed to go play ball. Stop
Mhm,
all the trying to intimidate and talking to the refs and all this kind of stuff. And every
mhm,
foul you get, you want to fight and stuff. Just go play your game. Just
mhm.
go play your game and you'll be okay. And I was real upset. And nobody ever played a game to anywhere near that level. You could say, yeah, I was upset, but I couldn't have done half of what he done. But on that loss, when they had that big comeback, I still don't know what DeAndre Fox was doing. I mean, they were up by one. They had seconds left,
Mhm,
and he was going down on that contested layup. I mean, he had a guy right on him.
mhm.
Bring the ball back out, run
That's
some
it.
clock, let them foul you,
Yeah,
and then,
less than
worst
10
case
seconds.
yeah, worst case scenario, you miss both free throws, you're still up by a point and you done ran a bunch of time off the clock.
Yep.
And I know he said something about it after the game and stuff, but yeah, I just thinking, boy, yeah, you should just brought that back out and ran some clock and got a foul. But in hindsight, you can always say that.
Yeah, but he's supposed to be the veteran on the team. He should know
Yeah,
better.
yeah,
And,
yeah,
just one dude I was reading, he was like, "Somebody need to check into it because uh, he played for Mike Brown in Sacramento. He thought he might have threw this series for Mike Brown." I was like, "I doubt if he did that, but he didn't play good. He didn't play it wasn't just that one game. He didn't play good at all in this series, and that's really my whole thing, and I'm not blaming him because he's a young up and coming coach, and he did well for his second year to get them there and all that. But I, it was some coaching errors that he made. Like when you got a 29-point lead, call some timeouts there, bro, when your boys are erratic, you know. Stop the runs. When they get their run, stop. He's still over there telling them to run the ball up the court. They want to
yeah,
speed it up. I'm like, sometimes when like you had your runs, other teams have their run. What do? They call timeout to break
yeah,
your momentum, and I don't think he exercised that well. And I'm not criticizing because he's young. He's a young
yeah,
coach, and I think he did a fantastic job. And just like making the hard decision, he should have took Fox out. Fox should have been on the bench because that little Ron Harper son, that's a bad young man.
yeah,
That
yeah, yeah,
oof, he should have been starting and staying, you know, and just let Fox give him a break instead of the other way around. And I think that could have helped him a lot too, because hell, not only was Ron Harper's son D'ing up Brunson, but he was also taking Brunson to the hole. He made Brunson work on defense, and that's a
hmm
lot of what broke him down because he was getting them points later on or when Fox was in there,
on it, yeah.
you know.
Yeah, yeah, I think so. I think so too. He's gonna be good, And I
Yeah,
think well, there were some comments, I guess, after the last game. Somebody, I think Vassell or somebody said something about he was upset about his playing time and stuff. And I
mhm,
said, yeah, I think like you said, I think sometimes you think about well, he's a rookie and you got this, Fox has been around for a while now. Even though he's
mhm,
not ain't been around 10, 15 years, but he's been around a little bit longer. I think sometimes you stay with that. But I think there was a couple of times, especially on that run in that game, that I would have said, you know, if y'all take another 3-point shot, I'm gonna sit every one of you on the bench.
yep,
Take the ball to the hole. You ain't hitting threes. That's what's letting them come back.
yep,
Jacking up threes left and right. Y'all ain't making them. take the ball inside a little bit. Go in and try to get some contact and get a foul and get a, maybe a 1-for-1, get a 2-shot foul, something like that. But they was just steadily jacking up them threes. And I
Yeah.
know that old saying about, well, once a shooter, always a shooter. I understand that. But still, sometimes you just got to say, look, they ain't falling. Let's take some time off the clock. Let's work
Yep.
it down. Let's work inside. Let's make them play some defense instead of jacking up all them threes.
That's right.
I didn't like that either. It seemed like he just didn't want to just tell them that. I don't know if it was because
Right.
he maybe thought that they would get their touch back eventually or what. But at some point, you just got to say, look, if they ain't falling, take the ball inside.
Yeah. See, and on top of that, emphasize clock management. You wanna run some time off the clock. You don't want to have them quick shots and all. And another thing, it's just my little thing. Okay, Wimby, I know you. They call you the superstar and shit. But get your ass over there and sit down and listen for some instructions. If you notice, every time they call a timeout or when they was coming out of a timeout, he was bending over talking to the coach. Look, I done
Mhm.
told your ass what to do. Now get your ass out there and play.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
noticed that a couple of times, where he puts his arms over the
Yeah.
coach's shoulder, and it's almost like, well, who's talking to who?
Yeah.
Almost like he's telling the coach what to do, and I'm like, no,
Yeah.
you ain't got that kind of stature yet. And
Yeah. So
and
you
I
look.
think they need to establish another go-to guy. I mean, I know, like you say, he's supposed to be the superstar and all, but he ain't. To me, he ain't got the Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant
Oh no.
step on your throat kind of
No.
killer instinct yet. And I think sometimes, you got to use that superstar to be sort of a decoy and find somebody else that can get you them clutch shots. And they just seem like they always want to set him up toward the end of the game. The game was tight.
Yeah.
So
But well, he ain't even got the stamina yet. Cause
yeah,
when he gets tired, he starts jacking up threes.
yeah,
And
yeah,
they get that one shot when he's in the first 3 quarters of the game. He's everywhere contesting shots, blocking shots. Even that needs to be something he needs to learn strategically. You can't get every one of them. You're gonna have to pick and choose which one and what time you want to alter a shot. And
right.
but the main thing, he needs to get some strength so he can. That big bull like Karl Anthony Towns, I ain't never cared about him. They always try to make like he's so good. I was just sitting there today watching him. He walking around with 2 trophies in his arms. I'm like, you were okay, but you didn't deserve to be doing all that shit.
Yeah, yeah,
You jumping up, smiling and grinning all in front of the camera, making a spectacle like damn. There were times when you were invisible in this game. It's
yeah,
always the one that has done the least is always jumping up, grabbing the trophies and shit.
yeah,
If
yeah.
if
I
if, if
agree.
anybody should have had it, should have been Ananobi because he played his
Yeah.
ass off.
He played some ball.
Yeah, he
He
did.
did. And like I said, that's the kind of player that, like you say, like Charles Oakley and those kind of guys that I think the Spurs need. Somebody, I mean, that
Yeah.
just seemed like he's just intimidating just to look at it kind of
Yep.
thing. And he don't make a lot of noise, as they say. He don't smile a lot. He don't talk a lot. He just go out there and play his game, you
Yep.
know.
Yep.
And I think, yeah, he saved on me that when he came right down the lane and had that lay in and win that game for him and stuff. I mean, he's the kind of guy that's come through in the clutch. And
Yeah.
but yeah, and Karl Anthony Towns, he was, in foul trouble most of the time and sitting
Yep.
on the bench. And then
Mhm.
when he was in the game, he wasn't doing a whole. Of course, I know Brunson was a guy, and he sort of took over the game, which I think exactly what he needed to do. Is almost like he was like, "I'm gonna keep going till y'all stop me," and they
Yep.
really never really stopped him. He would take the punishment. He would take the
Yep.
punishment and go inside and stuff. And how tall is he, Rodney
Who, Brunson?
Brunson?
Oh, yeah, they say he's 6'2", but I don't believe that shit.
I don't either. And I never went out there to look. I said, all I gotta do is
Yeah.
go out there and look. But I said, well, is it because he's around so many, tall players that he just looks?
Mhm.
I said, but he don't look that tall.
Oh,
I mean,
man.
to me, if
That's
he is 6 foot, he
yeah,
might be 6 foot.
yeah, that's what I was saying. 5'11" and 6 foot at the most.
Yeah.
And
I was thinking the same thing.
he ain't that tall. And but the same thing with Karl Anthony Towns. He's such a klutz. He is not subtle at all. His ass should have been fouling out in every game. I saw him take a shot on the corner. The guy came out and contested it. Then he falls down and then grabs him and pulls him down on top of him. Trying to get a 4-point play.
Right,
He
right.
does all that. Even when he's down in there, he put his arm up under Wemby's arm and hook him, and then the referees would call, because I know there was one time Wembanyama was had his arm stretched out trying to get it out, but this sucker was holding his arm, tried to lay it up, and Wemby blocked it anyway. But I'm like, they did change it, because they called a foul on Wembanyama first, and then they contested it, and then they changed it to an offensive foul. But Karl Anthony Towns, to be 7 foot, he has to use all the tricks to keep his shit from getting blocked.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he got away with a whole bunch, and I don't know, they ain't gonna call no perfect game, but some of that stuff is obvious, man. He just holds and does pull people down on top of him, like my son said, he's a little zesty, ain't he? I'm like, yeah, he is.
Zesty.
Yeah. I said he got that girl there. That's his what do they call it? Beard. Yeah. I said, yeah, that's what that he got a beard there. That girl used to hang with the Kardashians.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, so she had to hook her NBA player, but she got the softest motherfucker they got in the league.
I heard that. Yeah. But and it's just funny though how the game has changed. So I mean, it's almost to the point now that where you almost got to mug a guy to get a foul. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just gotten
Yeah.
to the point to where they let so much stuff go that I mean, I can remember back in the day when they were calling touch fouls. If you were trying to, put your hands on the guy out, especially out in the front court, it was a
Yeah.
foul. I mean, touch foul right out in the front court. You can't put your hands on him. You can't. Nowadays, it's almost like you gotta do something to almost draw blood for them to call it. Like, it's gotten to be a very physical game.
Oh yeah. And the referees they haven't grown with it. They're inconsistent because it's just like this boy up here, Gildas Alexander. He flops on every damn shot, man, and just falls down. And people don't even be touching him. He worse than LeBron James almost.
Mhm.
LeBron James be flopping, ain't nobody even touched him. Gildas Alexander, if you close to him, he gonna fall, and they gonna call it. And Wemby be falling, but his ass is just lighting the ass. That's why he be getting knocked over.
Yeah. That's like I say, man. Every time I see him fall, I'm just saying, he's like a gazelle going down,
Yeah, man.
like a big lion's running after me. He trying to
Yeah.
escape with them long legs and stuff. But yeah, he definitely needs to see if he can put on some weight. But he just looked like one of those kind of guys that probably can't put a whole lot of weight on. I mean, I just he just seemed like one of those kind of guys that are like that. But
Yeah.
if he could get some strength in him somehow, upper body strength or
Yeah.
something to try to, but he ain't like the typical post player. He's not down low, trying to block out guys to get his shot. I mean, he's out on the court more than your typical post players are. But yeah, he could stand to use a little bit more weight and a little bit more strength and stamina.
Yeah.
But like I say, if they get somebody that can come in there and hold the fort, like you say, hold the fort, give him some touch, give him some rest. I think they would be okay. But you just, you can't do that with somebody like Cornette. I mean, he just ain't that kind of guy. He's not going to intimidate anybody defensively, and he's not going to intimidate anybody offensively. So he's a placeholder. You sort of hope for the best.
Yeah, but he tried though. I give him credit. He tried big time, but he just ain't the answer. And
Yeah.
but they need a veteran big man to teach Wembanyama how to not only pace himself, but how to act down in the post. Somebody that can get Karl Anthony Towns, somebody like him, off of him. I guarantee you next year everybody's going to try to be really physical with him to wear
Oh
him
yeah.
down, because they saw that that's what worked. In this, you see, he didn't falter like that against Oklahoma City because they big men play just like he does.
Hmm.
You know, they didn't have nobody bodying him up, and that wore him out. Let alone trying to block every shot. Son, you can't get everyone. He should have been staying instead of being out on the perimeter. He should have stayed back in the paint or close to the paint, like he did with Oklahoma City, where he was effective. 'Cause all they did was draw him outside, and then that's when they went in on the weak side. There wasn't nobody over there to block a shot, and
Yeah. Yeah.
so he's here. In my opinion, I remember thinking just by his actions, because his actions, the way he played was never portrayed like that during the season. You know, he was just a ball player. You know, he was almost polite. But he got in the playoffs, and I guess he got around his time to get mean or try to be mean and all that kind of shit. And you know, when he elbowed that boy from Minnesota, I'm like, nah, come on now. At first, I was trying to give him the benefit of the doubt. Well, no, you know, they working on him and all this kind of stuff. And then I looked at him like he had time to look at him and wind up and then elbow him. I was like,
Yeah.
come
Yeah.
on, son. You know,
Yeah.
in all intents and purposes, it just shows you about this league. His ass should have been suspended for that, you know. And then they tried to make a big deal about Brunson. Brunson, that was just a play. That ain't had nothing to do with it. Because it was Brunson. But the way he elbowed that boy from Minnesota, hell, he showed some restraint because I done popped that motherfucker upside his head. Wind
Well,
up and elbow. Man, them little old skinny elbows, man, they're lethal weapons, man.
yeah. Yeah. They are. But then again, of course, they would never admit to it. But I think just like back in Jordan's day, for ratings and things of that
Oh,
nature,
yeah.
you gonna do all you can to keep him in the game, because
Yes,
that's all
sir.
they talked about. Well, one more fragrant, and he'll be suspended. I'm like, that ain't gonna happen.
No, hell
That
no.
ain't gonna happen. They'll review every one of them, and they'll make a decision that that it wasn't, so that he can stay because he's a drawing card. I mean,
You're right.
him and Brunson were really the drawing card. That was really what everybody was coming to see. And you gonna take him out of the mix? No, no, you ain't
No,
gonna do that.
people forget this is about business.
Yeah,
You know, why you think they let them take 4 steps to make a layup? Hell, they ain't kind of call all that, you know. Fans don't want to see that, you know. Or they knock the hell out of somebody and don't call a foul. They selectively don't see certain fouls, you know,
yeah. That
and
well, I
let
say the
go.
same thing. I
Yep.
say the same thing. I know there's a couple times I'm like, okay, how many times can you move your pivot foot?
Yeah,
How many times can you change your pivot foot?
exactly.
You keep the same pivot foot.
Yep.
But yeah, I see the same thing too. But I guess this playoff series, especially the finals, was one of the most heavily watched. And of course, when you got New York as one of the
Yeah.
teams, you got the most populous state in the union that's on one of the teams. Now, if you had uh, you know San Antonio and San
Indiana.
Francisco or Indiana, yeah, you probably wouldn't have had nowhere near the viewership. So I'm sure they were
Yeah.
the big execs were probably slobbering all over themselves when they said, "Boy, we got New
Oh yeah.
York in there, got all these celebrities are going to come out and everything." I said, "Yeah, they were licking their chops."
Well, you know, the league has long since let it be known, really, that they want the media centers to be in there. If it ain't L.A. and New York or Boston, you know, it's almost considered a bust because if you got all them, look at all the people you got coming to the game, let alone watching it on television. You know, so
Mhm.
uh, it just like what it was something else, wasn't it? A World Cup or something going on, a city that big. You got the NBA finals going on, you got the World Cup, and they all sold out. You know, like
Yeah.
good God
Yeah.
Almighty, it's a
Yeah.
lot of
Yeah.
folks. So
You you had, I guess, take away maybe a New York LA series of some type. You had one of the biggest populated areas in there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, they got what they want. They sort of got some marquee players in there too, and
Yep.
they're the young guys. Everybody's tired of LeBron. He needs to go ahead and call it a career. It's time for these young
5
guys
years
to come
ago.
on. So it's time for these young guys to take center stage, and they're doing that. Yeah, them young guys are taking over, but I guess that happens in all sports. After a while, the ones that were at the tops start to lose some of those skills. Well, we hope you enjoyed this edition. Join us next time for Old Fools Talking Old School. Until then, this is Mickey G. Hey.